Hello friends! Today, we'll discuss nested loops. A loop within a loop is referred to as a nested loop. Let's understand this through an example. We will set up a for loop to count numbers from 1 to 2. Start by initializing a variable I to 1 and continue the loop as long as I is less than or equal to 2. Increment I by 1 in each iteration. Now, let's copy this loop and place it inside it. Here, in the outer loop, we use the I as a counter variable, but in the inner loop, we use a different counter variable, which we'll call j. The condition for the inner loop is j equals 3. Inside this j loop, use the console log to display the values of I and j. We'll print outer, within double quotes followed by the value of I and then inner, followed by the value of j. The outer loop executes 2 times, and the inner loop executes 3 times with each iteration of the outer loop. This means that the inner loop executes a total of 6 times. When the value of I is 1 in the first iteration of the outer loop, the value of j changes from 1 to 3 in 3 iterations of the inner loop. Similarly, when the value of I is 2 in the second iteration of the outer loop, the value of j again changes from 1 to 3 in 3 iterations of the inner loop. We can also use the while loop and do while as a nested loop. This structure is commonly used when working with multi-dimensional data structures like matrices or when generating patterns that involve rows and columns. Now, let's create a program that can generate a right triangle pattern of stars. I want to generate this type of pattern. Copy the above code and paste it below. In the outer loop, we need 5 rows, so we can set the condition to I equals 5. Inside this loop, let's introduce a new variable, pattern, initialized to single quotes. It's an empty string as its initial value. The condition for the inner loop will be j equals I. This loop will iterate with the increasing value of the I of the outer loop. Inside the inner loop, the pattern variable is appended with a star enclosed in single quotes, along with a space. Come outside the inner loop, the pattern variable is logged to the console. Initially, the value of I is 1, and the pattern variable is empty. In the first iteration, the inner loop executes once, adding 1 star to the pattern. After the inner loop, the console log statement prints the pattern, which is currently 1 star. In the next iteration, the value of I becomes 2. This time, the inner loop executes twice, adding 2 stars with a space between them to the pattern. After the inner loop, the console log statement prints the pattern, which now contains 2 stars. This process repeats for I values of 3, 4, and 5. To reverse this pattern, you can achieve this by adjusting the values within the outer loop. Set the initial value of I to 5. Modify the loop condition to I greater than or equals to 1. Decrement I by 1 during each iteration of the loop. By implementing these changes in the outer loop, you will obtain the desired reversed pattern. If you find it helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos.